The studio I've set up here is my best attempt at creating an environment that elicits the most creativity that it can. What I've done here, and what the previous owner Justin King did as well, was to create something that felt a lot more like your living room, or like a living room that you could come in and inhabit for a period of time while you were creating your work of art. Because that's what it is in the end. I mean, of course, every band wants their record to become, the anthem of a generation. But before it gets there, and the only way it ever can get there, is if it starts out as your anthem. A lot of times I see being a producer as being less about what you do positively, like suggesting that, you reorient your target from one, style to another or something like that, or that we put shaker in the choruses. See it less as that and more as this almost like negative role of pulling the obstacles off the path, pulling them off the train tracks so that the train can move smoothly through, and the artists can be themselves without tripping themselves up and getting in their own way. And when we've got something that's honest coming from the band, and that makes perfect sense in the band's emotional eyes and musical eyes, then we can start to get at what the audience is looking for. I am trying to do my role to grace what everyone else is doing and create a completely coherent picture of the songwriter and the band's original intent. When you do that right, that's when magic happens. When you start working on a mix, you have some preconceived notions, but you kind of have to put those away, or push them to the side at least, where you can see them a little in your peripheral vision, but you're working right in front of you, like a child who's never heard this song before, and you're trying to dig deep and find what's within it. So you try all kinds of different things. What does it do when I turn it upside down? What does it do when I mute it? And then from that, you learn what the whole piece kind of is becoming. It's like becoming itself. So I know a mix is done when it sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. It's like discovering a new element on the periodic table. It's something I've never heard before. Every time a mix comes together, it's completely unique. And suddenly it snaps into place, and you're like, oh, there we are. It's not their artifacts. It's not the crunchiness that you get, or, the slight amounts of measurable distortion that you get, or what exactly the transformer is doing to the sound. It's that it's an extremely well-balanced piece of gear that is very honest. And, people talk about gear that's transparent, and I don't mean that, because sometimes transparent gear is not really very honest in how it moves. A great piece of gear to me is a well-balanced part of the chain that takes care of what's in front of it and what's behind it. Microphones are rarely honest, and that's the best part of them. They're a really great way of focusing the sound by eliminating many parts that you don't need, like a mic that really graces someone's voice well, who has, say, a real kind of throaty, gargly sound that we really want to emphasize. Well, some mics are going to pick that up and others are going to gloss it over, and we don't want to do that. We want to emphasize that and celebrate it and bring that to the front. Okay, but in so doing, we take away some of the butteriness of their vocal, and there are trade-offs, and that's kind of what mic choice is all about. So there, we're not talking about integrity and honesty. We are talking about finding the sculpture inside the block of wood.